friends, my name is Jana Eubank and I'm so excited to be sharing this layout with you today. I have some really fun photos of my parents from their 50th anniversary where I'm combining them together with some photos from their actual wedding day, and I'm going to be using the Beautiful Simple Stories Remember collection. I love the colors of this collection. It's perfect for the avocado green and blue colors from my mom and dad's wedding. They also have that classic harvest gold carpet from the reception center that is accenting their wedding colors. And so, surprise, those colors kind of made a comeback in this collection, and I think it looks gorgeous with these photos. So first thing I'm going to do is pick out my pattern papers. Now today I want to talk about a technique that I do with pattern papers. Pattern paper is one of my very favorite supplies, and often I find it difficult to narrow down my choices. So I'm going to kind of take you through the process of that and show you a technique that I do to add some interest or some visual interest to my background. Now the first thing I'm going to do is flip through all of the pattern papers and just select some that go well with my photos. You can see that off to the left I've chosen several of the gold colors because it accents my parents' photos there. And then I also wanted to bring in some blue with that deep teal cardstock in the background. I feel like that brings in the color of my dad's blue jacket. And then off to the right, I have that moss green cardstock, which I will sprinkle in as well. Now, the first thing I like to do before I even start making my background is kind of set out my embellishments and figure out my design. So you can see that I had the chipboard frame around the main photo. I've decided how I want my photos to lie, and I've also added in a few of the embellishments. Now that I know the placement of my photos, I'm going to work backwards and add some pattern paper layers. My favorite pattern paper that went well with these photos was that dark gold pattern paper. So I added that as one large block to anchor my composition in the background. But then I wanted to add some contrasting color, and that's where I brought in that dark black floral, that large black floral, to anchor those photos. I really like the way that looks, and I even added in some of that moss green cardstock to accent that. Now it still felt a little boring to me, and this is where I'm bringing in the technique that I want to show you today. Even though I love the colors that I'm doing, I want to shake it up a little bit. And so how I do that is I add in additional pattern papers in the same color as my main background. So you can see that I have that large block of dark gold floral, and now I'm adding in some gold gingham and that gold wallpaper floral. So they're all the same color, they kind of blend together, but they also add a lot of visual impact. So now that I have all of these strips selected, I can now start building my layout. You can see that I did stitch across the top and bottom of that black floral strip before I adhered it down, and now I'm just replacing all of the pieces that I had picked out in the beginning. You can see how just adding a few simple strips in the same gold color as my large main gold floral background layer added a lot of impact to this layout and made it more interesting to look at. So here I am replacing the florals, the butterfly die cuts, and just getting everything into place. Now from here I feel really good about my design, but I do want to add some additional detail. I have a trio of photos going on, kind of a visual triangle of photos, if you will, and I want to accent these in a triangle around those photos, kind of framing them out. So I kept feeling like I needed to add something to this top left corner of the photo. It looks fine how it is, but I did want to add some embellishing there. I have so many florals and butterflies going on the right side of the page that it felt like it needed a little something more on the left. So I'm going to play around with that for a while, and as I'm looking through pieces, I'm adding additional pieces to the embellishing that I already have. So for example, I added that teal label to the left of that top butterfly. I'm also picking out some word strips and other pieces to go in the top right corner of my parents' wedding cake photo. Now, as I tried a few things, I did settle on this ephemera piece from the journal bits. I really love this tag. I loved both the top and the bottom of the tag, so I decided to just cut it in half, layer those two pieces together, and make it look like there are two tags peeking out from behind this photo. So I'm just going to layer those. I like tags because they also give me an opportunity to add in a different different texture by adding some twine to the top of the tag. So far I have a lot of flat things going on, right? I have the paper, I have die cuts, I have chipboard. All of those elements are fun, but they're very flat. So now bringing in this little bit of twine adds some softness and a different texture. I'll go ahead and staple that with my mini stapler, and there's another texture with that silver metal texture bringing in. So I'll just keep working on this. I like the little tags up there. I will come back and add some more things to that later, but I'm going to go back over to the right side of my layout and start working on this top right corner of my parents' wedding photo. Now let me tell you what was going on in this picture. This is actually the picture on the left are my parents on their 50th wedding anniversary in November 2019, and as a special gift for them, I had one of my really good friends. She makes cakes, like wedding cakes. And I had her replicate or make a mini version of their wedding cake from the day of their weddings, which you can see on the right hand side. So that was a really fun surprise to give to them on their 50th wedding anniversary, and they really loved it. You can see they posed there with their beloved dog to get a photo before they cut into that cake. So that was a lot of fun. So I am embellishing that wedding cake photo from their wedding day on the right with those 2 postage stamps. Now there was a white edge around those, and I felt like it was a little too bright for that section of the layout. It felt like it was pulling focus away from that photo. So I simply trimmed that off with my scissors and then inked it up with some light gray ink. I'm going to add a brad there to just add a little bit of shine. Again, another texture bringing into this page. And I love that the metal rims of these brads also tie in with the staples that I did earlier. I did also add some of the decorative brads to the left of the title, and I like how that leads your eye or repeats that texture across the page. I did sprinkle in a few more of those tiny solid brads just to add in some solid color, and then I'm going to also bring in some of the enamel dots. These are beautiful. They're glossy and shiny, and they repeat that texture of the brads but without the metal rims. So I'll just add or sprinkle in a few of these blue ones by the existing brads, but I'll also put a little trio up by that top butterfly just so we have some sprinkling of these dimensional pieces in 3 different places throughout the layout. Now the last thing I wanted to do is I have a lot of florals on the right hand side of the page, and I felt like I needed to bring one more floral up to the upper left corner. So I'm just auditioning a few of these pieces. I did find this floral branch that's a gold color, so that works well, and I'm going to tuck in this green leaf stem with it as well. So I'll just go ahead and tuck those into place, and then the final thing that I will do off camera is add a journal block below my title, and that will complete the page. I also added in a lot of distressing to the edges of these photos, and I think that, or to the paper layers, and I think that matches these photos really well. I love this collection. It's the Simple Stories Remember collection. It's meant to document those who have passed on, but the colors and patterns are so beautiful, and the sentiments are just so versatile that you really could use this for any type of memory. My name is Jana Eubank for Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. Thanks so much for joining me today. We'll see you again soon.